Hey guys. So my current obsession right now is the Carpenters. I actually have a vinyl of the Carpenters, like their best hits compilation. Um, but I really like the Carpenters, specifically Karen Carpenter. Carpenter. She, in my opinion, is like one of the best vocalists of all time. Like up there with Mariah Carey is Karen Carpenter and like a few other people. Just those like distinctive voices that you can identify without even trying. It's like it's Karen Carpenter. It's no one else. But I watched a documentary on the Carpenters recently. Actually, watched it for a second time. I saw it for the first time during uh, COVID when I like couldn't go anywhere during the weekends, and I was like binge watching just random documentaries, and I happened upon it. But I had no idea. Well, first of all, I had no idea who the Carpenters were. I just knew that "Close to You" song that everyone knows because it's on the radio every day. Um, I knew nothing about the Carpenters, but that documentary, if you want to watch it on YouTube, it's called Karen Carpenter Goodbye to Love. It is so good. Um, the quality's not that great because I think someone like uploaded it secondhand. But anyways, it's all about Karen Carpenter's quest for perfection. Like she wanted to be the perfect wife. She wanted to be the perfect celebrity, the perfect singer, the perfect sister, um, the perfect daughter, like all of these perfects. And they say in the documentary, it's like it's too much perfect for one person. And it's just fascinating because like these celebrities that focus so much on perfection are like always the ones that have these tragic um I say unexpected, but it's not that unexpected, but it's just like these tragic deaths that just happened way too soon. um like Other celebrities that I think of, it's like Michael Jackson and um, I don't know. I'm sure there's a ton more, but same situation with Karen Carpenter. Just like nonstop quest for perfection and validation, which is really sad. Um, but for those who may not know um, that much about the Carpenters and their story, Karen Carpenter suffered from a mix of bulimia and anorexia, and also an addiction to laxatives, which all three of those are kind of just a recipe for disaster, which led to her passing away in the early 1980s. I think she was only like 30 years old or something like that. She was very young. And she just always felt like she wasn't good enough because her mother always focused on her son, Richard, and not so much on her. And she was just always living in the shadow of her brother. Anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting because can you have perfection and happiness at the same time? Like, is it possible to do both simultaneously? And I don't know that it is. Um, it also reminds me of that this movie, The Black Swan, that I really like. But same idea. You're just pushing yourself to be perfect so much to the point that you end up killing yourself, whether by accident or, otherwise. But I don't know. Is it possible to live that a perfect life with these unattainable expectations and also be happy? I don't know. Um, and not pretending that I'm a celebrity or Karen Carpenter or Michael Jackson, but I am a Virgo, and Virgos are very hard on themselves. We're never satisfied with anything, and we are perfectionists. And it's like, it's always a struggle balancing what's more important, happiness or something being perfect. Sometimes, I mean, maybe to some people the obvious choice is happiness, but it's difficult because if you put so much emphasis on perfectionism, it is your life, and you're almost willing to sacrifice your happiness if it means attaining perfection. So, anyways, I just love bringing up astrology because Virgos, just generally speaking, historically speaking, public figure Virgos that we all know of, they are so hard on themselves, and they like push themselves to their own deaths. It's very sad. This is kind of heavy. But Karen was, on the surface, she really was perfect. Her voice, effortlessly perfect. There was no effort behind Karen Carpenter's voice. It just naturally came through as this perfect balance of hitting all of the right notes, but also not sounding like you're trying to hit all the high notes, just flowing effortlessly through a song. I mean, it's one person in the documentary is like, I never heard Karen Carpenter sing an off note or like an off key note ever. And when you listen to her music and also when you see her perform live, it's like she doesn't. It's insane. And that was a gift that she has, and also a gift that she perfected. But it's like when you're a perfectionist, you only hear the criticism, and there were people who were criticizing Karen's body. There were people saying that she was heavy around the waist. I guess apparently it was next to impossible for her to lose the fat around her waist. Like everywhere else she could lose except her waist, which pushed her over the edge into more extreme dieting. But there could be a sea of compliments, but if there's just one little itty bitty criticism, as a perfectionist, that's the only part that you really focus on and remember, unfortunately. I mean, it really only takes one criticism to divert your hyper focus towards something else that you feel like could be better. But yeah, perfect voice. Just like perfect image. Literally just like the living American dream. And then she allowed what other people had to say and the expectations, the unattainable expectations of other people. She let that get to her. Like, people told her you have to lose weight because you look 40 pounds heavier on TV. There's just a lot. It's a really good documentary, and it's sad, but it's also eye-opening, and it like reminds you like wow, like even when you listen to her songs, you just hear this soothing, like angelic voice, and you would never fathom, without knowing, you would never fathom that this voice that is smooth as silk, like you could literally, if you touched it, if you can touch her voice, it would feel like the highest quality silk. You would never think that that person could be going through as big of a tragedy that she did. So it's just fascinating. And it's true. Some of the best artwork out there does have such a tragic story behind it. Actually, I would venture to say most of the most successful artists and most successful works of art have come from a place of tragedy or struggle or some sort of um, I don't know, some sort of some sort of suffering in one degree or another. So I feel like we do have to choose. Do we want to be perfect or do we want to be happy? Do we want to take care of ourselves or do we want to take care of our image only? And if you go to the extreme and you do stop taking care of yourself and you only care about taking care of your image and only care about your report card that you give yourself, it's scary. So anyways, I just find those stories so fascinating. It's like Michael Jackson rehearsing literally up until the day before he dies, signing up for this crazy tour, knowing that he's feeling weak, knowing that he is underweight and exhausted and not fit to tour. He still does it. He still pushes himself to do it and winds up on all of these medications that help him do what he thinks he has to do to be the best performer ever. And then this happens. So can we have both? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we can be perfect and happy at the same time. I don't know if we can be perfect and alive at the same time. So I will see you tomorrow.